Hi everybody, it's Crazy. It's Monday and it's time for the UPBGE video of the week. Now before I get started, gotta give a shout out to my trusted, cause you guys rock. To my Crazy fam, I love you guys. And to my patrons, thank you for your continued support. Now we are up to episode number 32 and we left off last week doing logic bricks and we ended off with the always sensor. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the always, as shown in this little figure right here, is the simplest and most often used sensor. There are basically two ways of using it. When pulse is off, it will run once when the level starts and never again. So whenever these two are off, okay, it will only do the first level triggering. That's it. It will trigger one time at the very beginning of the starting of the game, which kind of helps with certain things. When pulse is on, the sensor will run repeatedly, triggering controllers according to its frequency. Now, that's been changed in a BGE, and let's just switch on over to that, and you will see in here, if you come down to the logic bricks, and you pull up, it doesn't have frequency anymore. Why? Because this is the amount of time in seconds. If you have two layer triggering on, it will trigger at every game tick, every single game tick, it tick, 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 tick. If you have it set for 60 seconds, then it will trigger once every 60 seconds. But if you want to set this, like say you want it to trigger at 120 seconds, okay? So instead of the normal 60 seconds or whatever you have your set to, okay, there are some that the FPS is set to 30. So 30 ticks per second. Okay, so that's pretty fast. Very fast. And some people like it that way, but your FPS is not going to keep up with that. Most people usually do just 60 and they're good. If you set this to 0, okay, it will automatically trigger every time your game ticks. Okay, for every tick in your game, every time it refreshes the video or refreshes the game, basically updates the game, you will actually, it will trigger that always sensor. Okay. All right, so always sensors are commonly used to initialize actuators such as 2D filters, 2D, motion, scene, sound, and so on. So over here, it can, if you want something to constantly do, like a lot of people use it for like when they want to do something like an animation or trying to do a property or random or something of that nature. They would put that and connect it to an always, and you wouldn't have to really, do anything with it. You ain't got to hit a certain key, and it's mainly a lot of times used for testing or to keep something running constantly. Okay, when combined with a Python controller, this sensor is often used to call scripts that need to be initialized first. When the frequency is 0, the scripts and scripts that handle global events with the frequency setting according to the needs of the particular script. Okay, before we get into that, basically you hook a Python script to it. We'll go ahead and pull this out. We'll make this into a text editor. So say I ain't got nothing in here right now, but say you have a script and you want to run it, okay? You can come over here to this, and as you see, that text script I just created puts it right in there. We'll get more into this later on, but this is one of the main reasons why a lot of people use the always sensor is actually for Python codes. Okay, so we'll leave it at that for now. Next up is the delay sensor. Okay, delay right here. Okay, the delay sensor, let's go ahead and kill these two because we don't need them up there to distract us. Okay, similar to the always sensor, the delay sensor allows you to postpone the initialization of some actions by some logic ticks. Okay, you will notice three options here: delay, duration, and repeat. So you got delay, duration, and repeat. Now, the repeat is just a checkbox, so you can't set a number to it, but you can make this constantly repeat. So that's all that's for. Okay, so let's go in a little bit more into detail. Okay, the delay is the initial waiting period before the sensor is triggered. So if you want to wait 30 seconds before that triggers, then 30 seconds before it does, it will have a delay. It will wait 30 seconds and then it will trigger. Okay? if you want this to happen cyclonically, I can say that 5 times fast, you can set repeat on. So if you wanted to do it every 30 seconds, okay, basically if you got something moving and you want to kick that animation every 30 seconds to constantly do that instead of having it loop through the animation, you can actually do it that way. I know some people who have done it that way. It's a little bit long-winded to do it, but hey. It's important to note that the pause option works on top of those 3 parameters. Okay? I don't understand that. I don't see a pause option. It's important to note that the pause option works on top of those 3 parameters. Okay, I have no idea what pause is. I will get back with y'all on that because I don't see anything that says pause. It's something that they put in there. I'm just reading from the book. All right, in combination with the Python controller, this sensor is often used to call scripts that require other scripts to run first. So again, this can be used with a Python script, and you can hook it up. Say you want this text, to kick every 30 seconds, or it has to kick 30 seconds before the initial always. Okay, let's put that always back up here, kick it back up because we talked about this now. Okay, and you have 2 Python scripts. Okay, say you want text 2 or text 1, 2 to 1 first. Like you come over here, let's go ahead and move this over so I can create another one, and we'll create text 01. Okay, so you want text 01 to go first, but yet you want to wait 30 seconds before initializing text. Okay, so you want this script to run first, always. Okay, true level triggered. Okay, true level triggered. Well, you don't have to have that one true level triggered. It's just going to do it anyway. Okay, so you can have that set for every 30 seconds. It will trigger every 30 seconds the entire time. And so this one will do 1 tick, that one will do 30 ticks. Okay? 1 tick, 30 ticks, 1 tick, 30 ticks throughout the whole thing. Okay? Alright, so now we're on to the actuator. Okay? Here comes the chicken and the egg situation. This is okay. I'll have to switch over because that is kind of funny. Okay? Let's see. No, not that one. There. It says it right here. Here comes the chicken and the egg situation. Okay? So please understand that, there we go, okay, that I am not making this stuff up. Okay, so in order to understand the sensor, you may need to get more familiar with actuators first. Okay, so that what they're talking about is the delay sensor. Okay, the actuator sensor is triggered when the selected actuator changes its status, active or inactive. Okay, and we're going to bring that up here. That's the actuator right here. Okay, now these are all sensors. Okay, so let's see, you can trigger together another action right after an animation is done. So if you have an action, which I don't have any right now, but say you have an action that needs to go right after another action that you had. Okay, let's do delay, and we'll make that a delayed one. Oops, hang on. There we go. Bring that on top because, as you remember, this goes from top to bottom. So you make sure that this one doesn't trigger first. Okay, and you got this set for 30 seconds. 30. There we go. Okay, so 30 seconds. It's going to trigger this, whatever this animation is. Okay, now you can actually turn around and make the camera turn after that actuator is done. That's what this does. Okay, this actuator makes it to where if you have, a, say, regular action, okay, so after this action, the camera action, or the camera will trigger. Okay, so you can have the camera pan around. It's like how they do a lot of cutscenes. That does a cutscene. After the cutscene, it kicks back to the game. So when you kick it in, with the actuator or with a delay, it says, okay, after they do this and the delay kicks, then you can actually turn around and go back to the game Okay, you can let's just switch that. Let's see. Hang on. Let's go to game. Okay. Now you can actually actually would load a scene. My bad. Hang on. I'm gonna get this right here. Okay, where's the scene? There you go. Okay, say you have a not a background scene. Where's it at? Set scene. Okay, so maybe you want to set it to go back to the normal scene. Where you were at, because you actually have a cutscene for the action. This is your cutscene of the plane coming in or something, and then after that you would want it to go back to your game. This is what this actuator is good for. Okay, and since that takes 30, you want to turn this on and set it to 35. Okay, so that after the 30th tick, it's going to play that animation, and then 5 seconds after that, it's going to kick back over into your game. Okay, something neat to look at. It's kind of gets kind of hazy. It depends on what you want to do with it. Okay, Actuator Sensor and the messaging system. Now this is a pretty neat one too. In the online files, you can find a file that illustrates how this sensor can be used with the message and the animation system. Okay, so they have it in the book. You can go to chapter 3 and the sensor actuator.blend file. Okay, I'll kick back over there real quick. Hey, see it? That it? There we go. Okay, so right here. Okay, you can go get that if you got the files that came with the book. Okay, if you went to the GitHub and got it that way, you actually have this file. Just go to the book, go to the chapter 3, and you'll find the sensor actuator blend. You can kick it on and play around with it. Okay, it'd be something kind of fun to play with. All right, so kick. There we go. Next one is the joystick. Well, I gotta see what time I'm on. I'm at 12 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it off at the joystick, because the joystick one is actually kind of fun, and I would like to try to do that one next week where we can get a little bit more in detail. Because a good buddy of mine, when he built his Game 3 engine, he had controller inputs put in it, and it's awesome. I love it. And I would always wanted to learn how to do that with putting the game pads in and controllers and joysticks. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Let me kick over to here. There we go. Okay, so next week we'll continue on with joysticks to do some fun stuff with the joystick. If I can get the word out of my mouth, the joystick sensor. Okay, once we get that, that's what we're gonna start on next week. So till next time.